Alright guys, so in today's video I'm going to be taking out the diff, if all goes well, while I'm waiting for the paint to dry on the hood. So I'm going to be doing the same thing. I washed it, it looks dusty. I'll do the same thing I did on this one, but the hood, obviously I'll be taking it off the car. And then yeah, while I wait for the paint to dry, I will start undoing the bolts. And alright, got her all up in jack stands. I used ramps to help me out. And now I used some liquid wrench and sprayed the main essential bolts holding the diff in. I sprayed the axle nuts and then the bolt right here. And I also sprayed the drive shaft nuts over here. So I'm going to go ahead and spray them one more time, and I'm going to wait 24 hours. When I get out of work tomorrow, it's supposed to be sunny and 70. So I will start pulling the diff out. And then I went and got a car wash. You see my spray paint fender actually looks pretty nice for what it is. So I got a car wash, so the hood's all clean. Just got scratches. Taking the hoods out, or the hood pins out. I'm gonna spray paint over these. Yeah, I might spray paint over these. Get some self-tapper screws to put in there because I can't get the little tiny ones in that part of the hood. I'm gonna spray paint this black hood as well. Yeah, so can't tell. Spider gears. So hopefully that's gonna be changed pretty soon. Let me do a breakdown of what we actually need. Okay, so where did all my fucking tools go? You're gonna need an E. It's called an E12 Torx socket, and those are gonna go on your axle bolts right here. Now you gotta be really careful. These axle bolts are actually like cleaned off because they're gonna strip easier than the normal bolt. So clean them off. If you don't feel like it's on there on a tight fit, then don't hesitate to take like a rubber mallet or even just a hammer and hammer it on a little bit. Make sure you definitely have your liquid wrench, WD-40, PB Blaster, whatever you choose to use, and just spray the shit out of all of it. Because obviously you're going to want it all broken loose, especially these ones. And in the back there's a hole, well, it's like hollow where it threads in, and you want to spray that too. So to take this diff out, I was looking online, and there's no real thorough videos on how to do it, so I'm going to try to make this as thorough as possible. And again, if you guys have any questions, all you got to do is just comment below and let me know, and I'll make sure I answer them. So anyways, you have your speed sensor right here. Make sure you pull out, and this one's going to be a little bit of a bitch, so I'm going to have to use a screwdriver and pry it out carefully. Then you got your axle bolts that you got to take out. You got your drive shaft bolts you're going to have to take out. And in the process of taking those out, you're going to be climbing from underneath the car, in your car, to put it in gear, back and forth, so you can rotate the assembly to get all the bolts. And finally, after that, you have 3 bolts holding in your differential. You got this bolt over here, you got this bolt, and you can see the back of the bolt right here. You got that bolt. Those are going to be a bitch. I've seen videos where people cut the exhaust off, or not cut the, but remove the exhaust from the cat. I've seen that they take the sway bar links out. I'm not going to do that, so I'm going to see how that works, because if you can't see how rusty this is, the more I take off, the more that's likely to break, and I'm trying to avoid that. So let me go through and spray all these bolts really good, and I'm going to start taking off the hood and getting ready to paint. So what I'm going to do is take these off. and then I'm going to paint the hood. I'm also going to paint these though black to match those, but I'm going to take them off because since I couldn't screw those in, if they ever shift or anything like that, you'd be able to see like a green spot where I didn't paint. So now it's important, anytime you're drilling holes or cutting into any kind of metal, you always want to paint, like you want to get the paint inside there, because that's going to be the first thing that rusts. You can see streaks in it, but it's because the paint's still wet right now, but we'll let that dry. Obviously I didn't get up here because I didn't want to get on my window, so. Now we're going to start the drive shaft. So for your drive shaft bolts, they are a 16 millimeter. I'll get that to focus. Anyway, it's 16 millimeter, and make sure it's in gear, and then just break them loose. So I got them broken loose, but since these are a bitch, I'll show you a little trick if you guys don't know. So you hold your wrench there, and hopefully it won't fall. And you take your bigger wrench, and you just put them all like this. That way you have all that leverage, and you can pull. And it works. It makes pretty much the length of it longer, which then in returns, it breaks it free easier. Alright, there she is. She's all off. Here's your bolts. Make sure you keep all your bolts together and wash them up before you even try to reinstall them. So, when you got your drive shaft done, should just grab onto it, push it forward, should disconnect, you just hang it down. Be careful. Well, I couldn't get mine out, so I am gonna try taking the rest of this out, and when I pull the diff back, I should be able to disconnect it from there. Now at this point, you take your E12, make sure it's cleaned out, not like mine, and you start removing your axle nuts, like so. Alright guys, so skipped ahead a little bit because my hands got too greasy. So anyways, I got both axles off. I had to take the sway bar off. I was thinking about replacing it, but now I have to replace it because I ended up fucking snapping in half. But it's to be expected. Things always go wrong. I got the speedometer sensor unplugged. So yeah, now you have to take the sway bar off to get access to these bolts. There's just no way, at least for me, to figure out a way around it. So the sway bar, you got a bolt right here, a bolt right here, a bolt right in there, an upper control arm, and right in there. So now I'm gonna buy a new one, but it's alright, race car life. There we have it. Diff's finally out. That was a bitch. Here's the naked underbody. So yeah, I definitely recommend you having someone else work on it, because that fucker's pretty heavy. It landed on my ribs pretty hard, but I'm not no small guy, so I have it. So yeah, that's it now. We have to get it welded. I'm gonna crack it open too and drain the fluid. And there we have it. The hood's painted. Don't look too bad. I mean, like I said, we're gonna be repainting this entire car. I think I'm gonna go like a silver. I'm not sure yet. And there we have it. Hood's all painted black. Don't look too bad. Hood bolts are, hood pins are tightened down since I forgot to do that. So now the car sits, and yeah, so I can get cracking on that. And pretty much, I won't do it today. Maybe tomorrow, or maybe this weekend. I'm gonna crack that open, drain the fluid, get some brake clean, spray the shit out of it. Diff back in. That's welded. There's no oil in it yet. What's going on, guys? So I got the diff welded, put back in, took it for a test drive. It hopped a little bit more than I thought it would, but I knew it was gonna hop. I just never drove a welded diff, so you know the videos don't do it justice. But then I broke an axle, so if you can see it, looks a little fucking tweaked. So spin the wheel, spins the diff, spins that's gonna be the new thing. So I'm gonna take this axle shaft out. I don't know when I'm gonna be buying one, but yeah, that's gonna be it. I have a busy day today. I have some graduations I gotta do, so bushings are shot. Maybe one day I'll replace those. The rear sway bar that I broke, I actually looked it up on a forum, and it actually helps stop the snapback. So yeah, from drifting, like when you're going sideways and once you come back like that, yeah, I guess it stops it. Hey guys, so I'm just editing the video right now, and I realized that I wasn't very thorough. I told you guys I was gonna be thorough, and I wasn't. So essentially, your drain plug, this is your drain plug, Phillip plug. You see, I got a broken bolt in there because I was lazy and I didn't want to go to the store. But what this is a 14 millimeter Allen socket, or if you have the wrench, And sorry, I'm all plugged up today. But yeah, so I have it filled, not so much. But what I was gonna do when I welded the diff, I was gonna put fluid in it, drive it a few miles, do nothing hard, and get all the splatter out from the welding, and then drain it, and then fill it back up with good fluid. I'm using high performance, like, I don't know, professional stuff. It was pretty cheap. I read online you actually don't need anything expensive for a welded diff, which makes sense because you're pretty much stopping most of the rotation in there. All right, so what happened was I was driving down the road. Stupid me, I couldn't resist. I tried to do a little burnout, and it just fucking snapped it. So, yeah. You got your 14 millimeter Allen wrench. I forgot what this was. I'm wanting to say it was a 18. I believe it's an 18 millimeter. Don't stand by that though. But anyways, those are actually pretty easy to crack open. Then you got that one too. This is the E12. That's the E12. Like I said previously in the video, make sure your socket is on there because they can strip pretty easily. But I got all mine out, so I'm sure you guys' car isn't going to be like Michigan rust like mine, so you probably have a better chance. I did break the rear sway bar, but like I said in the forum, it actually helps, so I'm not even going to replace it. Well, I'm going to try to see how it is. I'm going to remove this muffler and put a new muffler on it eventually, but like I said, this is a budget build. But I'm trying to make it a little bit more official because it is fun. I kind of like to continue with the fun. So pretty soon I'll be taking this out. I was reading online that the OEM ones are like top notch. That's what you have to buy, but they're like $374. So fuck that. I'm not buying that. $60. I'll buy it. We're kind of thinking. I don't know if it's gonna be exactly possible, but my neighbor, the one who welded this, he's actually like a fabricator. He does pretty good shit. So we're kind of thinking like a Ford 9-inch. I don't know if it's possible. I've never even thought about it yet. Never did any research on it yet. But if I break another drive shaft, I think we're going to start looking more into a rear end swap. Because I did tell you, well, it was a surprise, but I'm planning on dropping a engine in this car, an American engine, which just gave it away. But it's still a little surprise because you guys are gonna think the norm swap. So that's about it. So when you get these bolts out, sorry I'm rambling. When you get these three out after you got your drive shafts unconnected, and you don't gotta pull them out. I mean, you can. You don't gotta hammer them out. Mine just pulled right out. It wasn't nothing a big deal. My drive shaft, I'm pretty sure they're supposed to slide back farther than what mine did, but it didn't, so I just left it right there. I got up underneath, put your hands up here while you're getting this last bolt. I made this one my last one, which is on the passenger side. And yeah, then after you get that bolt out, it kind of falls on here, and drive shaft actually held it from falling. Then I just grabbed it, and I just wiggled it back and forth, and I broke it loose from the drive shaft, and I put it down on my chest, and then I scooted out from underneath it. And yeah, That's it. So when you weld it, make sure you don't get any splatter on the ring and pinion. And if you do, well, no matter what, you should always just fill it up with some cheap diff oil, drive it around a while. You know, like I was going to drive mine like 10, 20 miles. And then change your oil, put new oil in it. While you're putting new oil in it, always double check your bolts to make sure they're still tight, because you never know what's going to happen. I think that explains it all. Subscribe if you want to subscribe. Like the video if you like the video. If you have any comments, questions, or even something I should do that I don't even know about, type it in the bottom. I'm always listening. So, this ends how to remove a differential in an E36 video. So you guys have a good day, and I will see you next week.